Hi everyone, and welcome to today's General Hospital recap. Okay, yesterday's General Hospital recap. I'm a liar, but here's Misha to make up for it and to make us all feel good for a hot second before we get into it. Thanks for your patience. I worked extra yesterday and it would not have been a good upload, but I'm fresh. It's the afternoon, and let's get right to it. Oh, and today's probably going to be a little later because apparently I'm working till 9. But it will be up tonight, I promise. I won't be that exhausted. So let's get right to it. At the Quartermains, it seems like the board has barred Tracy from going to the meeting where they're going to vote to sell the hospital, which is ridiculous. And Ned comes in. They talk about Dylan a little bit, and then Ned leaves, and Monica comes in, and Tracy tells her about being barred, and that the board wants to sell it to an investor who's going to turn it into luxury condos, and Monica's like, well, I'm going with you, even though the board said Tracy would be escorted out by security, and Monica's like, don't care. So at the Metro Court, Dylan stops by to say hi to Kiki. He woke up today with a smile on his face because of her, and I was like, oh, sweetie, that's not gonna last. And they both feel like they're getting a fresh start, and she gets a concert download from the festival, which kind of reminds her she's got to end things with Morgan before she, heads off on this new adventure with Dylan, but Morgan hasn't called her back yet. Can't imagine why. So Ava comes in to talk to Kiki, and she tells Kiki there was an accident and Morgan's gone. And Kiki doesn't believe her because who would? And she tries to call Morgan and there's no answer. And then it really, she's taking it all in and she's distraught, obviously. And Ava tells her... Okay, so Ava tells her that Morgan saw her and Dylan being intimate together, and that's what set him off. And Kiki's like, I didn't sleep with Dylan, though. Like, well, he couldn't have seen that because it didn't happen. But my issue is, why would you tell her that? Like, that's horrible. Absolutely horrible to psychologically put that on someone, especially when you've been switching his meds for like 2 months. I can't. Someone else could have told her. Well, I don't know. Well, Nell could have told her, but like it coming from Ava is just so evil on so many levels. She hates her daughter. She hates Kiki because nobody who loves their kid would do that to their kid. Just saying. Also at the Metro Court, do you see how like she got me so angry? My energy level went up 50%. So Lulu and Laura have breakfast, and she gets a call from Kevin, but sends it to voicemail because not necessarily because she doesn't want to talk to him. She's at breakfast, and it would be rude to take a call. So snaps for Laura. Legally Blonde much? So Lulu says that Kevin told her everything about the book, and she's like, no, I've let that go. It's just basically she feels like she had already made the decision to trust him, and then she got proved wrong. So why go through that process again? And Olivia sits with them. Lou gets a text from Dante and heads out. And Olivia asks about her and Kevin. And Laura says, like, yeah, but, it's complicated. And, he broke her trust. And she's been bamboozled so many times in her life. Like, she just, she didn't want to do it again. And Olivia's like, well, it'd be a shame to lose out on someone because of past experiences with other people. And I think that makes Laura open her eyes a little bit. At Crimson, Ned visits Dylan, and Dylan says he's better and moved on. And Ned can't help but get the feeling that somebody else helped Dylan. So Kiki's the reason he's smiling. And then Ned mentions the hook in the door, and Dylan's like, what? So it wasn't him. So Ned mentions Olivia finding it, and Dylan's like, back up. You and Olivia were in the boathouse after me and Kiki left. So this whole thing is going to get found out. Like, because Morgan obviously didn't go to Crimson and see them kiss. So the whole thing is going to... it was just such a perfect storm. Like... Oh, God. I'm upset. So Kiki comes in as Ned is saying he has to solve the mystery of who sunk the hook in the boathouse door after Kiki and Dylan left. And then Ned wishes them both well as he leaves. So I hope Kiki heard that, you know? So Dylan can see something's wrong, and then she just starts crying, and she tells him about Morgan off camera, which I would have loved to see that, but, you know, whatever. I like small conversations. I like nuancy stuff that most shows gloss over. For me, nothing is ever perfect. If y'all ever write a show, just make it. I think that's maybe why I like The Walking Dead so much, because it's so slow and nuanced, and like just there's so many little things, and I just love little things, you know. Anyway, this isn't about me. So Dylan says he's sorry, and whatever she needs, he's there for her. And she says they can't do this. And I'm like, of course you can't. Why could you? He saw them together, and Dylan says he couldn't have. So maybe Dylan will be the one who puts this all together. Oh, good. Please, Dylan, do that. Misha was like standing there, so I don't know what she's doing. So she says that Morgan must have felt her pulling away. So even if he didn't see them, he must have felt her pulling away. So she thinks that they killed him, and she says she can't be around him because it's wrong. And I was like, of course. Why would it be right? We were so close to being happy. So back at the Metro Court, Ned tells Olivia that Dylan didn't put the hook in the door, and it wasn't Julian. So Ned then is like, hey, you know, can we go public? Because the only reason we were private is because of Julian, but now he knows. We haven't even been there yet. So much has happened. At Casa Corinthos, Jason is at the house, and he's trying to track down the broker, but he seems to have vanished, especially because there was a problem with the job. And Sonny says it was an accident, and like, please tell him he's not the reason his son is dead. And he called off the hit, and the broker said he understood it. It's not like he left a voicemail. There was like talking that happened. 1 second, this guy get knocked. Someone was sneaking up on Misha, and we know Misha likes to knock the tripod over. So something more is going on here, and Sonny thinks that someone else is responsible for killing his son. Or maybe he just has to think that. And it could have been someone else, because if it really was understood and it didn't go through, then Julian had other enemies, so here's hoping that that's how they salvage this whole thing. But either way, Morgan's dead, and that makes me sad, because he was doing so good. So also at Casa Corinthos, Sonny had called Bobby over to be with Carly when she wakes up, and Carly wakes up and she says, Sonny must have called her over because Morgan's been having trouble in school, and they needed to be more understanding. And she tells him how much she's gonna tell Morgan how much she loves him after he gets home from work. And Bobby's like, you and I both know that's not gonna happen. Morgan's gone. And Carly says it was just a dream. Bobby says it wasn't, and she was so distraught. Apparently they had given her a pill to fall asleep, so she feels she was drugged. She was. I'm not saying that unreasonably. So Bobby and Carly go downstairs, and Carly sees the muddy coat and the evidence of reality, and she just can't. At the PCPD, Dante called Michael in. Michael, he's very busy. He's, been out of town, and he's going place to place. He has a meeting to go to. And then Michael's automatically worried by Dante's demeanor, and he tells him that Morgan is gone, that he's dead, and it happened last night, and Michael was out of town, so Dante told the family he'd tell him. And this is going to throw Michael back into a Sunny tailspin. They were just back, and now not so much. So Dante tells him the events of the night: the drinking, stole Julian's car, hit gone wrong, and then Sunny and Jason come in, because why not? So Michael stops Sunny from hugging him, and Jason's like, let's not do this here, where all the police are. It's better, let's not do that. So they go into the room. An officer gives Dante Morgan's phone and says that someone just tried calling it. So Michael asks Sonny if this was him. He wants Sonny to tell him he's not the reason Morgan's dead. And side note, Jason's wearing his black t-shirt and leather jacket. Just needed you to know that, but let's get back to the substance. Michael gives him a piece of his mind, and he says that he put this all in motion, and it brings up how Sonny said killing Paul wasn't worth it, so was trying to kill Julian worth Morgan's life. And I think the answer's no, because it should be. Back at Casa Corinthos, Dante comes over, and Carly wants to hear what happened from him. He says the car exploded, and Morgan wasn't driving his own car. So Morgan had been drinking. TJ after saw him. TJ tried to help, but Morgan punched him and stole Julian's car. Jason went after Morgan and saw the whole thing, and she asked why the car exploded. And 1 second. So Carly asks why the car exploded, and he says it was a bomb that wasn't meant for Morgan, because it was Julian's car, and it was meant for Julian. So Carly asks if Sonny had anything to do with it, and then enough of a pause. She has to go get air, and she keeps saying to herself, I begged him not to do it. I begged him not to do it. And Dante's like, okay, I'm still a cop, so you kind of got to watch what you say right now. And if you say anything else, I may have to repeat it in a professional capacity. And he's like, well, I probably crossed the line by saying that, but I mean, he doesn't want to. Like, I feel for him. And then he gives her Morgan's phone, because that's the original reason he had even come to the house. So Carly stares at the smashed phone, and then she starts looking for a phone charger. And apparently Morgan had like an older iPhone with like the old charger. You know what I'm talking about, like not the lightning cable. So like no wonder she had to go search for a charger. And like, why was he using such an old phone? Like, I know, like, you know, make your own money and everything, but like, come on, you got rich parents, at least get a nice iPhone, right? I'm a bad person. So she listens to the message, and he never got it. And Sunny comes in, and Carly says she knows about the bomb. Back at the Quartermains, Michael tells Tracy and Monica he has to take the next few days off. Morgan was killed in a car bomb late last night, and then Tracy makes it all about the violence all around them, and she's being like very insensitive and not exactly like nice. So she's being really insensitive, and Jason tells her to back off, and Monica joins in because now is not the time. Back at the PCBT, Dante comes back to the station. He goes in the interrogation room and starts throwing chairs, and Lulu comes in and asks what's wrong, and he says Morgan's dead and he may have to arrest Sunny for killing him. Now end scene. So Laura calls Kevin back, and she says yes to dinner with him. Olivia is afraid of screwing up, and if they go public, then they're real, and he misses them. And, you know, Doctor Strange is going to be in theaters soon, and he says if he doesn't see it with her, he doesn't want to see it. And then she kisses him. Couldn't be more public. Like, she goes across the room and kisses him because he had walked away. Kiki cries in the elevator, and music starts, and I was like, oh, do I feel a montage? But they didn't Morgan montage, at least not yet. And Dylan is like looking at pictures from the Metro Court. Ava tells Bobby she's sorry for her loss, and Bobby asks Ava if she ever loved Morgan, and that he was just a kid and he didn't know any better with her. And she says that she did love him, and he was the only one who saw any good in her at some point, and now everyone who did is gone. Dante says Morgan was the first Corinthos he ever met when he came into town, and you know, he had his whole life ahead of him, and Lulu hugs him. Monica tells Tracy Michael needs his family, so Tracy does back off, and Michael didn't take it personally, but he when he's talking to Jason, he says, like, he didn't see how much Morgan was struggling, and he should have seen that. They weren't paying attention. He was manic, and whoever gave the order is the one who killed Morgan, but there's so much more to it. So Jason says that Julian had a lot of enemies, so Sunny might not have anything to do with this, and Carly yells at Sunny that he killed Morgan just because he couldn't help himself from going after Julian, and then Sunny starts crying. So all over, heartbreaking day on General Hospital. Oops, I will see you later today, tonight for more General Hospital, maybe around 11 or so. I'm hoping, you know, to really, as soon as I get home to watch it. But I will see you then, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!